Hi everyone, hope you're staying safe. First, huge shout out to almost 40 of you over the course of the last couple days that took on that bunker weeding project. Robert and his team can't thank you enough. So we're going to hope that as that new SandPro machine arrives here in the next couple days, that we'll start working on those and get the bunkers in the best shape they've ever been. Huge shout out to the Wells. They knocked out 4 holes by themselves. 12 bunkers. Good thing we don't have Goff. I don't know if they'd be able to swing. They knocked out 12, 13, 14, and 17, the hole they live on. So John Sieben knocked out 6 bunkers on his own on number 1. So most everyone took the holes that they live on, and that's nice that everyone took ownership there. But again, a lot of people inquired, and they're all done. So coming to you for another Tuesday tip. Last week we talked a little bit about separation of shoulders and hips, how that was really the biggest difference really between your top players or your top players and your recreational players. Today we're going to talk a little bit about the backswing, how it starts, where the club should go, maybe the backswing path, I guess we'd call it. We're just going to take the club up the hip high because that way you can do this exercise at home while we're waiting for golf to open. So as we always hear, we hear that we want to swing inside out. Inside out is like the holy grail of paths. So inside out, well, what does that mean? Number one, we have to understand that it doesn't mean that that's being done by your hands. Your hands aren't taking the club inside and swinging the club outside. You have to understand that the shoulders are responsible for what takes the club to the inside. And it's not your hands really at all. The only responsibility of your hands is to hinge the club upward. So if your shoulders are turning the club around you and your hands are hinging the club upward, the club will follow what we would call is really the most desired plane or path. So let's see what that looks like. I have a ruler down here behind me. I'm going to take my address position with that ruler just a little bit behind me, and let's walk through a couple backswings. So here I am in my normal address position for a full swing. I have the ruler just a little bit inside the club head anyway. So remember, your hands hinge the club up and down, up and down. And they do not hinge the club back and forth. And that's probably what I see most of. That right hand for a right-hander becomes so dominant, it just snatches that club and takes it back. And there, if you look behind me, see how that club is kind of going, the line of the shaft is going right through my knees there. Don't really want that. So my shoulders are what's going to take the club around. So it's not my hands at all. So if we can try a couple practice swings where we just hinge the club up, let it hinge down, hinge the club up, hinge the club down. Now hinge the club up and turn your shoulders a little bit. And you'll find that now when we see the club, you can't see the club shaft in the camera. You cannot see that intersecting my knees. And in fact, if I laid this club down on the ground, you'll find that it's perfectly parallel to the yellow ruler. So that's what we want to see in the backward part of the swing. It's going to give you more room. And the biggest thing is it eliminates the huge adjustment that you would have to make if you took the club so-called inside, where you have to throw the club to the outside. So now we're relying on our body to turn the club where it needs to go. Because we're tilted over, the club is going to get taken not only to the inside, but it will also take the club slightly upward because of our tilt. So you'll see my arms and hands now as I turn. If I let my hands just hinge up as I turn, you'll see that the club would go around and it would go up. And then on the way down, the club now would be, as I transfer my weight, I would unwind the club around and down. And then I go into my finished position. Okay, so there's a little exercise to do while you're sitting at home. Hopefully not watching too much TV and drinking and eating too much, so stay in shape. Do some stretching, and hopefully we'll have golf before you know it. Look forward to seeing you soon.